Okay, here we go. June the 10th, 2014. And we're going to shake the Chicago CME's money tree today by virtue of our wits, which is what trading is really all about. You got to love the competition. We're up against the best minds in the world. And if we can be effective in that environment, it's got to give you something to be proud about. So we left yesterday's market wanting to be a seller. We had the sell zone yesterday, 7 to 11. The overnight session high was 11.5, so we caught that pretty well. London topped at 10.5. The last rotate up in P period stopped at 9. Then R was at 7, T's at 6.5, and W's at 5. So we are gradually notching lower. So the sell band this morning is 4 to 8 to get started, but I think the trade of the day is going to be finding a place to get long, and then the second place is going to be 11 to 15. And the reason I say that is today is a 3-year auction. It starts that in the almost every situation. The first day of the auction is up. So finding a place to buy it will be what we'll be looking to do this morning. We're going to see our first support on the pane number 3 of the F4 screen, and we ought to see some pretty good support coming in on our new F5 screens, especially if you filter for a 50 lot. Up to you. I hope to buy the 1 to 29 area, but it may take 3s to get in. Don't know. So right now everything is pointed lower. We've got a new mom in the W period that's taking us down, and we'll see if that will extend the range to the downside. So we're hoping to buy 1s to 29s and then 25s to 21s for buy 2. And that does it for the note. The knob spread gave up a 30-second last night, but held in there pretty well. It's north of 11. And that's if you're patient, want to make a little bit of money, playing the knob spread long the 30-year. Short to 10 during the 3, 10, and 30-year auction week is a pretty good way to do it. And the big boys are with you. They like it. Okay, looking at the 30-year. We have this 2-letter ledge from the other day that's down in the 24. Right at 24. We're at 35. So maybe we can buy this one a little cheap, lean against that, 29 to 25, give ourselves a little wiggle room. And then 17 to 21. We left yesterday's market wanting to sell 7s to wanting to sell 11s to 15s, and the high was 21, so we were stronger overnight. Weakness in the E-mini was behind that. So we got this pretty clean break at 7, and we had the last rotate up at 3. So we'll make 4 to 8. We'll play for 11, sell 1. Like to do it against 8, maybe a little bit better, and then 11 to 15 for sell 2. We'll just keep the 11-point spread and see how that works out. We've got a little extra volatility in this, so we might be able to do a little better at the high end of the range. And might be able to buy it on the cheap. We get some selling. So that's what we'll play for this morning. But again, we'll see the support for the market come through on the F5 screen or the F4 screen, pane number 3. Gold was extremely quiet last night. Not a lot to work with. We had a sell against 60 basically, and we wanted to buy against 50. The buy came right off the Globex opening. We were hoping to buy 48s to 50s, let them get stops below 50. Did not get stops below 50. We were hoping to sell the 60 area. Didn't get close to that in the overnight, so 57 to 60 was our sell. That's where resistance is right now, so we'll just leave it at that. Looks like it's going to trade higher, so hopefully we'll get a shot at our 60 sometime today. But it's been hard due to the lack of volatility and volume. It's been really hard to execute advantageously in gold so far this week. Summer markets for sure. So we'll have the sell 57 to 60 where it was last night. That is resistance in 63, 65. And on the buy side 50, 52, 45, 47. Okay, we like the sell side last night in the euro coming in. It did sell overnight. We had a sell 35.90 to 136 even. The high was 36.02, so we caught that one really, really well. Our buy, we had 50 to 60, then 30 to 40, and it looks like the low is maybe 33, 35. We got into our second buy zone. Now, what's the hierarchy that for planning purposes and trading targets? If a number one resistance level holds, what are we trying to buy? Number one or number two support. Number two, that is correct, Dan. Thank you. And it's the way the structure works. It's the way the market is. So what really, if number one levels hold, we're looking at continuation of whatever move is underway. Most of the time, the market's sideways, a little higher, a little lower, and that's why our number 2 points work so well. That's the effectiveness of them. The last rotate up here is 51, followed to 72. S period stops at 60. We're at 44. So why don't we make 60 to 70, sell 1. And then 80 to 90, sell 2. Okay, crude looks like it's headed for 105. Didn't see any specific news out there. It is the start of driving season. China has said Philippines and Vietnam, calm down, you know. We're just going to build a fort in between the Philippines and Vietnam, and it'll be benign. We won't do anything. And while we're at it, we're going to be drilling for oil right there. And we understand it's in your territorial waters, but you know, a couple of thousand years ago, all of this was ours, and we see it as ours now. Now, I think China, going back historically and saying this territory was ours, has a stronger case than Islam does. But like all conquering nations, if you conquered something a long time ago, most of these nations feel like it is still theirs, whether they've lost control of it or not. And it's an interesting way of thinking. But, you know, somebody always wants something that belongs to somebody else today. And they'll come up with all sorts of arguments to justify that. Okay, 105, 105 and a quarter, sell 1, 105.50, 75, sell 2. Take out 105, change it from resistance to support. We're headed to new territory. We'll make 25 to 50 by 1. And then 75 to 104 by 2. This thing is tended to trade one handle trading ranges, so it looks like we got a 104 minus 105 plus market to deal with today. Like I said, I don't have any news that says the market is trading higher off of economics or the drumbeat of war getting louder. And now to everybody's favorite market. Now listen, tops without a retest of them are pretty unusual. It takes a major piece of news to do that. Nancy points out the militants taking over Pakistan's the airport, I think at Karachi, correct, Nancy? That's a wild place. We used to have to hire armed guards to escort us around that place. Every gang had its little operating territory, and the name of the game back in those days was kidnapping and holding for ransom. So we never went anywhere in Karachi without heavy armed guards. Always interesting coming from the United States, heading into play back in those days, Chile, Nicaragua, Karachi. Of course, then we were in a hot war in Vietnam, but you just don't understand how good we've had it in the United States until you travel overseas and see what life is like for most of the rest of the world. Okay, so a retest of this 54.75 is coming. I don't know when. May not be today. It would make sense to come back and retest support. And we have this single print at 44. We've got this breakout from, what, 40? So I see 40 to 44 as really, really good support. Now, so on the cheap, this 40, 42 area would allow them to get stops below the round number at 40. It's within striking distance, but 44 might hold. This market has made us pay up to get long. We have rarely been able to buy it on the cheap. Like the 35 to 37 area better, of course. 54.75, a 20-point correction would take us to 34.75, and it would put us right into the single prints where this breakout came at 34. So somewhere in this 34 to 44 area, we ought to find some support that gives a tradable long. And then first you got to take out 50. And you got to take out 54 to save the trade. So sell 1 will be 50 plus or minus. Sell 2 will be 55 plus or minus. And we're going to try to buy that 35 to 40 area today. It'll take about 15 minutes to get everything posted. I will be back up as soon as I can. I'm going to turn off the recording right now. We'll put that into the room. And in the meantime, good trading.